Daddy, she's the woman who left me to die. The words sliced through the air like glass shattering, leaving the room frozen in stunned silence. Mark turned to his son, Jason, whose face had turned pale, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and rage. Standing at the doorway, holding a cleaning bucket with trembling hands, was a woman who looked just as shocked as everyone else. Her name was Linda, the new maid Mark had just hired. But in Jason's voice, she was no stranger. She was the woman who had abandoned him when he needed help most. Jason's body trembled, his breath shallow as old memories clawed their way back. 2 years ago, he had been in a terrible car accident on a lonely stretch of road outside town. He had crawled out of the wreckage, broken and bleeding, screaming for help. A car had slowed, a woman looked straight at him, and then drove away. That face, etched in his nightmares, now stood in his living room. Mark's heart dropped. He had hired Linda just a week ago after meeting her at the church food drive. She seemed humble, desperate for work, saying she had lost everything and needed a fresh start. He had felt sorry for her. But now, as he looked at his son, shaking and reliving that awful night, Mark felt torn between disbelief and anger. Linda's lips quivered as tears began spilling down her cheeks. "Jason, I didn't mean, I was scared," she whispered, her voice breaking. She dropped the bucket, the clang echoing painfully. "That night, I saw you. I wanted to stop, I swear I did. But I had my little girl in the car, and I thought if something happened, I didn't know what to do. I was a coward." Jason's voice rose, raw with pain. "You left me bleeding on the road. I could have died." His hands balled into fists, and his father quickly placed a hand on his shoulder to steady him. Jason's chest heaved, his mind torn between fury and the scars of that long night waiting alone in the dark, praying someone else would come. Mark looked at Linda, who had collapsed onto the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. "You knew a boy's life was on the line, and you chose to drive away," he said quietly, his voice trembling. "Do you have any idea what that did to my son?" Linda nodded desperately. "Every single night, I think about it. Every single night, I hear his cries in my head. I don't sleep, I don't forgive myself. When I saw your ad for help, I didn't know it was you, I didn't know it was him. But maybe God brought me here because I need to face what I did." The room fell heavy with silence. Jason stared at her, his chest still rising and falling fast. He remembered the headlights disappearing, the unbearable loneliness, the pain shooting through his body until another stranger finally stopped and called 911. He had survived, but the scar went far deeper than the physical wounds. And now the woman who caused it all sat here, broken, begging for forgiveness. Mark took a deep breath. "Jason," he said softly, "holding on to this anger will only keep you chained to that night. Yes, she failed you in the worst way, but look at her now, she's drowning in her own guilt. Maybe this is your chance to take your pain and turn it into something stronger." Jason's jaw tightened, tears forming in his eyes. He looked at Linda, who couldn't even lift her face from her hands. The image of her driving away haunted him, but so did the thought of being trapped forever in the bitterness it left behind. Slowly, painfully, he spoke. "I can't forget, but maybe, one day, I can forgive." Linda lifted her face, tears soaking her cheeks. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice cracked and weak. Mark placed both hands on his son's shoulders. "Son, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace for yourself. It's strength, not weakness." Jason swallowed hard, his heart pounding. For the first time, he saw Linda not as the woman who had abandoned him, but as another human being haunted by her choices. The scars inside him would take time to heal, but maybe letting go of hate was the first step. That night, after Linda left, Jason sat quietly on the porch with his father. The stars shimmered above them. "Dad," he said softly, "I never want to be the kind of person who turns away when someone needs help. No matter how scared I am." Mark smiled, pulling his son into a side hug. "That's the lesson, son. We can't change the past, but we can choose to be better because of it." The story of that night would never leave Jason's memory, but neither would the choice he made, to rise above bitterness, to heal, and to remind himself and others that true humanity is in showing up for someone when they need you the most. And somewhere deep in her own heart, Linda prayed that his strength would one day guide her toward her own redemption. Would you like me to make this story slightly longer, about 20% more, so it comfortably fits a 4-minute YouTube narration pace?